Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, and we take this time every day to talk a little bit about AI and what's happening in AI and the recent developments. A lot of developments going on, and we try to cover them every day. But we've been talking mainly about, I guess, about ChatGPT 4, you know, and the oncoming potential of ChatGPT 5, which they say is imminently on the way, so it's imminent, so we'll be looking for that. It's supposed to be a big jump in forward progress. I know one thing, right where it is now is pretty amazing. ChatGPT 4, you know, it does so many things. We've got a couple of other elements revolving around humanoid robotics infused with AI, right? So that's something we're going to take a look at today. Boston Dynamics, a robot update, if you will. And so, you know, it's an amazing thing when you really stop and look at what the robots are able to do. You know, sometimes I'll see a video and I'll think, that's not real. That's got to be like you know, a facsimile of what the robot will do one day. No, the videos that I saw were actual videos that are portraying what the robots are doing in the laboratory now. And they're already going to work. They're putting the robots to work. A lot of companies are using them now. And I saw something this morning, you know, that in China, humanoid robotics are infused into the workplace already, you know, to a great extent, greater probably than in the U.S. So it's a coming thing, and it's an amazing thing to see. So we're going to look at some video of actual Boston Dynamics robotics, and you will be amazed. If you haven't seen this, you'll be amazed. You know, when I saw it the first time a while back, I thought, well, it was sort of out of context. I didn't know it was actually the actual robots. I thought it was a facsimile, you know, an animation or something, but it's real. So it's kind of astounding. Also, you know, we talk so much about ChatGPT 4 and about what they're doing, and they're in the news right now between, you know, all the stuff that's going on between Elon Musk and OpenAI, the folks who did ChatGPT 4. There's a lawsuit going on right now. There's so many things going on with that company. But there's another bot that's getting a lot of press right now that was just released just at the beginning of March of this month. And he's called Claude. And we're going to take a look at Claude, and we're going to find out more information about that particular AI and what it's capable of. And it's pretty mind-boggling once again. Okay, also, in the middle of the show, we'll do a segment on our apothecary, which is where we are emanating the show from, Pendragon Apothecary in downtown Ocean Springs, inside the studio of Ocean 7 Television. And I've got a video for you on grounding. And so we've talked about grounding a little bit as a biohack for your health. And so I've got a video on it which will further explain it. Okay, first off, let's take a look at the latest developments in humanoid robotics via Boston Dynamics.
So, Boston Dynamics' very famous robot just got a major upgrade, and many people did miss this, so I'm going to be informing you all on how crazy this upgrade really is. So, you can see right here, Boston Dynamics actually posted this short, and in this short, it's a very, very informative short about the Atlas platform and what this robot is capable of doing. What you're seeing Atlas do is, I'm not entirely sure what it is loading, but it is clearly loading some items into some sort of carrier and then placing them out of the carrier and loading them into something else. Now, essentially, what we saw here with the caption that Boston Dynamics added to this was they said that this is Atlas getting ready for real work. And I think that this was something many people miss because they just thought it was a really cool demo, but this demo actually had many different small things that many people didn't realize, including myself when I watched it the first time. But after watching it back one more time, I realized just how impressive this demo really was. Now, most of you guys do know about Boston Dynamics from their very, very famous videos in which they've done the parkour videos where they showcase just how crazy good this is in terms of the agility of the platform of the humanoid robot. But this video actually focuses on something rather impressive. The reason that this video is so impressive is because Boston Dynamics has actually made a very small change to this robot that many people didn't realize. You can see that one of the first changes that Boston Dynamics has made, if I pause the video right here, you guys are going to see that they've actually made a small change to the hand. If we compare that to a video that we saw prior, where Boston Dynamics was doing some other work, you can see that in this video, it used a different style of gripper. Now, this style of gripper is a two-pronged gripper. This is similar to the style of many other robots, and I'm guessing the new one is a bit more innovative. The point here is that you can see that this kind of gripper that they did use was very, very non-gentle. This was a kind of grip that was very, very, I guess you could say, harsh on whatever item it might be bringing. And this is something that doesn't have as much applications as a gripper that isn't as tight. So that was something that I did notice. And what that does mean is that if Boston Dynamics have upgraded their Atlas platform, and if they've said in the description of the video that, look, this thing is going to be getting ready for real work soon, that means that they are clearly experimenting with some new style of hands for Boston Dynamics that is going to be using in order to be doing some real work. Now, another thing that was really, really impressive about this Boston Dynamics demo was the fact that the robot actually tripped up and then somehow managed to regain its footing. Now, you can see right here that the robot actually trips. And what was funnily enough was that this was actually like a real person. You can see how a real person kind of trips and they kind of regain their footing and then they look right back at the item. And then something that you do see right here is that you do see in the back, you do see someone's reaction like, whoa, he actually didn't just drop. He actually managed to stay upright. You can see people's reactions right there like, wow, okay, this thing is pretty crazy. I'm not sure if they're like, wow, it nearly fell or wow, it stayed up. But I'm going to show you later on in the video how good Boston Dynamics is, because this is a truly advanced humanoid robot. Now, there was also something from an article that I did see about this demo in which they stated...
Okay, we're going to take a look at the rest of that coming up later in the show, but you can see where it is right now. I mean, the robotics are so advanced right now, it's kind of mind-boggling. And it gets more mind-boggling the further we go with that video. So it's really an amazing time. And anyway, we're going to also look at another AI breakthrough, which is Claude, which is another ChatGPT-4-like AI, which is now out. And you'll be able to learn a little bit about Claude. Claude is supposed to be very, very powerful. Okay, here's our segment on the apothecary. You know, we've got different products in here, which are, I guess you'd call them wellness, forward-leaning wellness products. We've got all the 7 sacred mushrooms here in the store. And these mushroom powders, you can add to any type of drink. We've got reishi, also chaga, cordyceps, all of them. And we've got some powders that come with all of the 7 mushrooms in one powder. So you get them all at one time. They've got different medicinal benefits. Of course, lion's mane, everybody has heard about that at this point, I guess. And lion's mane is for cognitive, issues. They use it in Chinese medicine and also in Vedic medicine in India for treating cognitive issues. And so that's one of the mushrooms. Reishi that's called the king of the mushrooms, and it's got many medicinal benefits. If you Google it, and you'll be able to see what I mean. So we've got all of that here at Pendragon Apothecary, and these powders also come in tinctures, which is easy to take. You just put the dropper under your tongue, you get it in your bloodstream in a liquid form, right? And so one of the products we've got is the CBD pump liquid additive for beverages, and it's emulsified. So when you add this to a beverage, this has got no THC in it. This is a broad spectrum, not full spectrum. So broad spectrum is all of the cannabinoids, the CBD, CBG, CBN, CBL, all of that without the THC. So it's not quite as powerful from the standpoint of the THC not being in it, but it's got all of the medicinal benefits of relaxation and that type of thing. So this is a pump, and it's easy to put into any drink. And because it's in emulsified form, it will blend with any liquid. Because, if you try to do that with an oil-based tincture or something, a CBD tincture like that, it won't dissolve very well into the liquid. But this will, because it's emulsified. So We've got that, among many other things here at the Pendragon Apothecary. And I mentioned yesterday, we finally got the new website ready to go. We were on Shopify, and so we migrated off of Shopify with our own website, but then we had to put in the ability to take the credit cards, and we've been waiting for approval, and we finally got it. So over the next few days, maybe by next week, that'll finally be up. So I'm so excited about that because I've been wanting to be able to promote that. And, you know, anybody out there who has a curiosity in what we've got in the store, we'll have it on our website. And if you want this, you can go order it. You know, you're watching the show, okay, you can order it. If you're watching the show on the air, over the air, we're on the Sparklight Cable System, channel 1007 across the Jackson County area. We're on UVerse across the coast on channel 7, and then over the air on channel 7.1. And now we're streaming on Facebook on the Ocean 7 TV page and also on my page, Edward St. Pay page. So I hope that we've got some viewers out there in various parts of the state now, and we hope to shortly have it on a couple of other platforms too. And so a little wider distribution. Okay, now I talked about grounding. It's also called earthing. It's one of those biohacks that I mentioned. You know, I've tried to mention a number of biohacks recently that I've learned from being in and around the apothecary for the last 3 years and learning about herbalism and such, okay, which has been a kind of a wonderful new thing in my life. You know, to learn about herbalism, you can learn the rest of your life. You'll never learn a smidgen of what's out there, you know, with so many potential medicinal benefits to plants, right? You know, like I think it was Plato said, heal thyself. I think maybe it was Aristotle. But anyway, the thing is, you can stay well by using certain plants, medicinal plants, and infusing that into your diet. You know, if you can stay well and not get sick in the first place by adding some herbs or herbal tea or different things to help your system, why wouldn't you? You know, and so whatever is old is new again, sort of. You know, so ancient herbalism now has kind of come back into the forefront, I think, of people's thought, because after the pandemic and such, and everybody's been through such an onslaught of all of that activity, wellness has got to be right in the forefront of our minds, so we stay well in the first place and don't get sick. And what a wonderful thing that is, right? So anyway, that's what all of the herbalism, to me, represents, a way to biohack your system into health and not get sick. Okay, with that being the case, there are many other biohacks that I've now come in contact with, but which I probably would not have had I not been involved with all this. Red light therapy, Google it, okay? It's very beneficial. A vibration board, which you stand on, okay? It stimulates the lymphatic system in your body, because the lymphatic system, the lymphatic flow does not just pump. You've got to move in order for it to flow. So if you're sedentary and you're not moving a lot, a vibration board would help you in getting the lymphatic flow moving, which would be very beneficial to your health. Plus, it just jiggles up your organs. It kind of invigorates you the first thing in the morning, and that's what I've learned to do. Here's a biohack. The red light's on a stand while you're doing the vibration board, so you double hack at one time. All right, here's another one. This is the one we're going to talk about today. It's called earthing, grounding. You want to be grounded on the ground, at least a little bit during the day, because it helps to discharge the ions in such a way that you're back in tune symmetrically with the earth. Okay. That may not be the best explanation, but let's go to this video and learn more about earthing, also called grounding.
Grounding, also known as earthing, has so many health benefits, and it's so easy to do. All you do is take shoes off and get outside. Put your feet in the grass, in the dirt, or in the sand, and it's a natural way to use the earth's energy for healing. So how does it work? Well, the earth is negatively charged, and within our bodies, our atoms sometimes get positively charged. We lose electrons, and it creates these free radicals in our body. So when we step onto the earth absorbs all of those free radicals and neutralizes them. So it's a natural way to heal your body. And there is a plethora of health benefits. So the plethora of health benefits includes neutralizing free radicals, reducing stress, reducing depression. It promotes better sleep, It lowers blood pressure, it boosts your immune system, helps with microbiome. So just even having your feet in the dirt, in the sand, on the earth, you're creating a more diverse microbiome in your gut. So all of this is related. It also helps to reduce inflammation throughout the entire body, which is the root cause of all major illnesses and diseases.
Okay, that's a little bit more on grounding, and we've talked about it. Now, how else could you ground yourself? Okay, well, getting on the ground, yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mentioned this the other day, you know, there were about I think it was like a year or so ago, not this Christmas, but the Christmas before last. I was out there, sort of out in the woods in the evening, and I was under the big oak tree, and I was laying on the ground, kind of looking up at the stars and sort of meditating, right? And it was cold outside. I was laying on the ground directly on the surface. And you know, I felt, after I did that, I felt better. And I thought to myself, I wonder if it was something to do with just being in contact with the earth, because I had, you know, a car accident and my back got wrenched up, and so it had been hurting, and I just completely felt better after that experience. And I remembered, what was that all about? Did something happen? And then I forgot about that, you know, and now that I've rediscovered this concept of grounding, I realized that's what it was, you know, and there are other ways to biohack into grounding. Okay, let me just tell you real quick. Yes, you know, we have rubber shoes on, you know, we've got soles on our shoes, and we're not in contact with the ground. So you can get up in the morning, go all day, go to bed at night, take your shoes off, you know, take a shower, go to bed. Your feet have not touched the ground. You have not touched the surface of the earth. Some people I've read, you know, they've lived for 20 years or more, and they've never touched the ground. I mean, think about it, you know. If you're wearing shoes every day, you might touch the floor in the house, right, with your bare feet, but that's not the ground. And, you know, because you've got shoes on all the time. Since we've become so civilized over all these years, it could have disconnected us with a very basic thing that we need. So there's an example, as you heard some of the information about that, of the benefits of it. Okay, here's another way to do it. There are products that you can buy. You can go to Amazon and find it really quickly. It's a grounding pad. So we've got grounding pads. They've got grounding sheets with the infusion of silver thread through the sheets, which plugs in, not to the electrical socket, but just the third hole at the bottom, the grounding pole, right? It's got one little prong. It goes into the grounding pole, so it's grounded, and that comes in and plugs into your sheet, your silver thread infused sheet. So you're sleeping on a grounded mat. They make the same thing for the pillowcases. So your head is you're grounded while you're sleeping. So for 8 hours, if you're sleeping 8 hours, that means you're getting that grounding for 8 hours, whether or not you touch the ground or not. You might not have time to go out and walk in the grass, right? But this is the way to get it. They make the pads for your feet, so while you're sitting at your desk, you can get your feet on the pad, and there you go. For 8 hours you're at work, you're grounded. Well, why not? I mean, if this is going to have benefits, then we've got to find a way to do it. That's just one of them. And I'll tell you the last one before we go. And to me, this was a game changer for me. I got a ping on my phone. It was about an app. It said, try this app. You know, the name of the app was BodyFast or whatever it was. And it's about intermittent fasting. And of course, I had heard about that before, and I had read about it and heard, but I never, you know, it never dawned on me to try it. So I got the app, and I don't think I've used the app 5 times since then, but the first 3 or 4 times I used it, it got me onto the beginning of doing intermittent fasting, which I've been doing now, I don't know, maybe a year now. Okay, here's how it works. You get up in the morning and you don't eat breakfast. You don't eat anything. You can drink black coffee, tea, whatever, water, but you don't eat anything. At noon, you can eat, you know, lunch. Hopefully you don't do a lot of crazy snacking through the day, but at night you can eat dinner. But you have to stop. You can't eat anything after 8 p.m. So from 8 p.m. all the way until the next day at noon, you're not eating. So you're fasting 16 hours and you're eating only 8 hours between noon and 8 p.m. That's it. Simple as that. And try to, you know, eat you know, in a normal way, best you can. All right, I did that. Now, my whole adult life, I've weighed about 175 pounds. You know, I have weighed somewhere between 170 to 175 pounds my whole adult life. Maybe I gained a little bit more weight if I was working out really hard in the gym and I got bulked up a little bit, but never much less than 170. So I did the intermittent fasting, and over a period of weeks and months, I went from 175 to 165, and then 160, and then 155, and then I got down to like 148 pounds. I thought, geez, I'm getting too thin, you know. So I tried to bulk up a little bit, eating a little bit more protein and such, and working out a little bit harder, and I kind of leveled off. So right now I'm at 152 pounds, and I've been right around in there since then. So there you go. There's a 25 pound weight loss without doing anything. I didn't diet. I still eat anything I want to eat. I just eat during the parameters that are given to you. What it does is it allows your body to rest instead of eating all day long and eating in the morning when you get up and your body's got to churn that food and digest it and everything else. Okay, your body has a break, 16-hour break. And there's something called autophagy. It's Latin, autophagy, it's called. Okay, autophagy, auto-eating, self-eating is what it means in Latin, which means after about 12 hours, you know, your body starts to look for something to eat. It doesn't go to the fat stores first and start trying to eat that. The first thing it does, it looks around and it starts to gobble up the free radicals in your system. Bad things, right? That's what it cleans up. So with autophagy kicking in every day at about 12 hours, you've got, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours of autophagy going on in your system from the last point you ate at 8 p.m. You know, the next morning, between, you know, 8 a.m. and noon, your body kicks into the autophagy mode, which is cleaning up the system, so to speak. So it's like taking out the garbage every day. Can you imagine if you don't take out the garbage for a week, what happens to the house? You know, it's not a good situation. Same with your body. If you don't clean out the free radicals, if you don't have some mechanism to do that, your body gets clogged with that, okay? All of that, you know, cancer causing and everything else. Think about it. Everything we eat, everything, if it's not organic, it is potentially not good for you, okay? Every vegetable that's being grown out there, if they're using Roundup and glyphosate on it, we're getting that in our system. It's washing off into the streams. We're getting that in our water. Everything we eat right now, it's not good. I mean, it's a health hazard unless you are pretty rigorous about doing the organic thing, because it's got glyphosate in it. And I'm telling you, that is not a good thing. So now, that is one way to lose weight for those folks out there who want to lose weight, who've never really tried this. This is a way, the intermittent fasting. And the benefits of autophagy that kick in as a part of it. So you get both. Less calories, you lose weight, your body cleans itself up. After a few weeks of that, you have a sort of a new clarity, and it's a very good feeling. And plus, you know, you realize, well, I've been carrying around all that extra weight, 175 pounds, and now I weigh 150 pounds. Well, what was I doing with that 25 pounds? It's like lugging a 25-pound dumbbell or a barbell around all day with you. I mean, it's not good, you know. It wears you out to carry that extra weight, you know. You feel a little more nimble without it, and hopefully your operating system operates better. Okay, that's the biohack for today. All right, now, we started this show, which is an AI-oriented show. I digress for a moment, but this show really is about AI. It's called Future Shock. The future shock that we will experience going forward with the onslaught of the advance of AI and everything that will result in the advance of AI. It's already mind-boggling. We're going to go back to this Boston Dynamics video, which shows, you know, the incredible advancement in humanoid robotics, which is infused with AI. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that again. It's amazing. But it's amazing. The whole field is amazing, and that's why we're doing this show, because it needs to. We need to be able to bring this to the public. People need to know. A lot of folks are right with the program. They know all about this, but some people are learning about it, and some people are not aware of it at all. And that's to me, that's the amazing thing. If we're not aware of what's happening as we speak right now, the advancements are so profound and they're upon us. It's not a matter of this is going to be something in the future that's going to happen in the years to come. It is on us now, and it is here, and it's only going to get exponentially more intertwined with our lives every day as we go forward. All right, here's a little more on humanoid robotics infused with AI, and this is a video showing some of the robotics from Boston Dynamics
that I did see about this demo, in which they stated that, some parts of this were pretty planned. So they said that one limitation here is that some of the smarts in the video are pre-calculated. At one point, we see what looks like Atlas's vision processing, and it has a perfect 3D scan of the car strut ready to go. So essentially, they're talking about this point right here. You can see that as the video starts off, you can see that the car strut right here is a perfect 3D scan. Essentially, what they mean is that in order to get a perfect 3D scan of a similar object, you're going to need to scan it in a different kind of system, which means that they kind of plan this out because, of course, if you're running around, you're not going to get like a perfect 3D scan of an object using LiDAR and some vision sensors. So clearly this was planned out in some sense, but nonetheless, it's still pretty cool. You can see, so it says this is either attempt number 5000, or it has already seen the strut from all angles, or Atlas was pre-programmed with topographical data for this exact model car strut. It says either way, for all lifts in the video, Atlas is saved from trying to figure out the shape of the object in real time. And Atlas has LiDAR sensors on its face and can generate a point cloud of what it's looking at. So it just needs to line up the pre-baked model with the point cloud, and it has perfect knowledge of the strut topography. A harder level of difficulty would be picking up an object Atlas has never seen before. But you've got to break down the challenges into smaller parts and start somewhere. And that is pretty true. A common gripe in robotics is to try and get objects that have never been seen by the robot before to be picked up by that said robot. And this is something that is hard. But I don't think that something like this is pretty bad, because if this Boston Dynamics robot is going to be working within certain fields, I'm sure that certain items are going to be, very, very normal to this robot. I mean, if you're a person who's working in a kind of environment, I'm sure there are certain items that you do see pretty often. So this is not going to be that big of a deal in the future, and I'm sure that whatever Boston Dynamics are cooking up here, it does mean that in the future we're likely to see these in some kind of places. Now, one question that I've always had is, when is the full robot automation thing going to be coming? One thing that I always did realize is that this thing is very, very expensive. I would estimate that this is probably $250,000. Maybe that is, a little bit of an exaggeration in terms of the price. But if we take a look at some other figures, you can see that the estimate, if true, is a huge feat considering robots usually take years to complete and cost far more. Spot, the four-legged robot, actually sells at $74,000. And according to experts, humanoid robots like Atlas cost at least within the $100,000 range. And I'm not surprised that this is true, because I do remember that a similar project called Eve from 1X, if I remember correctly, it actually cost around $250,000, and it wasn't as agile and could move as much as this. So I'm guessing that...
Okay, that's a little more on Boston Dynamics robotics, and we'll have more video on that. It's really incredible. This has been a good week so far. We've talked a lot about the current advances in the ChatGPT 4 about to become ChatGPT 5, and some of the activity going on with OpenAI right now. They've got something called, I believe it's called Q-Star, and it's kind of a quasi-secret project. It's not really been released, of course, but it's not even been talked about very much. But the speculation is that project, embedded in that project, is the potential that they've already reached artificial general intelligence. And we'll have more on that, and perhaps in the show tomorrow, along with more information on the latest developments in artificial intelligence, AI. Thanks for being with us today.